Greetings, 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 everybody. I'm so happy to be with you today. Martha Creek at marthacreek.com to contact me in any way in the world I can be of any support to you. It is yours. This message is made for a service on Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend and what it means. And I remember questioning this as a kid because in the country, in the rural part of Kentucky, and probably our culture in other places besides in the South, we went to the graveyards, to the cemeteries, and we placed flowers on the graves and on the tombstones, the headstones, and we shared food and fellowship. We had a potluck. So people came in, families were there from out of town that had moved, and it was a special time of gathering. And I remember asking questions about it, like, what does all this mean? And it's like to honor our own elders, to give thanks and appreciation for them. And it's still meaningful to me today. Those early roots, the early beliefs that I took on relative to Memorial Day. And it is certainly, regardless of what you believe or what your traditions are or what culture you're in, as you listen with it, that it is certainly a significant occasion, regardless of how we celebrate it. It may be for a backyard backyard picnic, a grill out. It may be for cornhole, a gathering of families, a chance to be in fellowship, though, a chance to recreate our souls, to a time to new heartstrings between our families. And for me, and maybe some of you, it's a significant occasion to honor the sacrifices of those who have served in myriad ways the next greatest iteration of our world and the next greatest iteration of our humanity, of our way of being, and have dedicated their lives to do this, not only for our country, for veterans, for example, that did this for the safety and security, the freedoms and the privileges that we have today, and teachers and social workers and physicians and doctors and mothers and fathers and grandmothers, and all of us have a role and a responsibility in service, a life of service. So as I reflect today on the sacrifices that were made for me, it is overwhelming, actually. And it also calls me to say, then how can I dial up my own service? Even if I'm already doing quite a bit and carrying quite a bit in my service, how can I continue to increase that out of my clarity and my own reflections of the sacrifices that have been made to and for me, the shoulders of the giants that I stand on, to now take a shared responsibility in that, to do my part. And to do so, many have sacrificed, and profound sacrifices that have impacted me and you, our communities, our world, our churches, our neighborhoods, our workplaces, our privileges, our possibilities today. So deep bow to all in service, the service that has been, the service that is being, and the service that will be. And one of them, my Uncle Kenneth, for example, was the patriarch of our family, and he was a veteran of World War II. And it was a very scary time in the family for him to be away, to be called away, just a young man, a very young, just a boy, to be called away. And he was taken a prisoner of war. So I was so tuned in and aware of some of the worry that was handed down over the generations of that time. I was not alive at that time. And the stories in the family about what it was like for the family to bear him being sent away. And he was honored to go and be a part of this, securing our world securing a way of life for us. So, for all of you, in every way that you served, a deep, wholehearted gratitude and remembrance for that. So, let me again emphasize the importance of gratitude and remembrance and reflections, and hopefully then to inspire us, to inspire me today to actively dial up, emphasize, recommit, redevote, rededicate my life to service, my life to being a part of causing and creating what I want to see more of in the world, and to be able to be a part of that. And it includes for me acknowledging that there is grief and losses around this, and the ways that people have served, and the lives that have been lost, and the disappointments, the despairs. And there's also loss among others in the way of aging, in the way of immobilities, in the way of I just don't have the stamina that I used to have for this. So even as we memorialize the way that it used to be, the way that we used to be, and the things that we could do that we cannot do anymore, that's not denied or suppressed or depressed or anything in here, that's also included in a part of this, that we are in our own transitions. We have been, always will be, and will continue to be in a ever evolving process, human learning process, physical process, emotional processes, and yes, spiritual processes. So as we acknowledge that grief and loss, we have experienced it, I have experienced it, you have experienced it, and many, 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 all of humanity, every person has experienced their own depths of loss and grief. And there's also in that this uncommon stamina, which is my favorite part of our humanity. My favorite part is this hang in there like a hair in a biscuit, resilience and grit and hope, and just this inability, even in the face of losses, in the face of despairs, not to give up, to just do what we can, one step in front of the other, one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, one transaction at a time, one person at a time, one personality at a time, and to keep alive this sense of hope that has been also handed down to us, this hope as resilience, as grit, as uncommon stamina, to just hang in there, and the healing that is possible as we share this responsibility, take turns. And when I'm able to do it, then I'm able to give and to serve and to offer that out to others. And at times I'm not as able, and then others step right in to provide a source of inspiration, help, hope, healing, service, giving, and support to me in spades. So as we extend this recognition today, that it includes ourselves, all the way that you have served, how are some of the ways, what are some of the ways that you have lived a life of service to? Please be generous as you reflect on this. All the ways you've served, all the ways that you've served in your family, professions, in your neighborhoods, in your workplaces, in your relationships, in your health, your own care of your spiritual self, your emotional self, your physical self, financially, how you have served and given and given and given. And count the ways that you have been served. Who served you? And in what ways have you been served by others in profession, in relationships, in spiritual community, in workplaces and neighborhoods, who has been there to care for you emotionally, physically, financially, and spiritually throughout and likely several decades of living. So in unity, we know that we are creators and co-creators. We are participants in this thing itself called life. So then it's up to us to use our innate inherent powers to continue to cause and to create, and to do so hopefully today with more sense of, yes, let me get my gratitude and remembrance dusted off and dial my gratitude luminosity up even another dial. Even if I generally live a grateful life, I'm going to dial up my gratitude for all the ways I've been able to serve and all the ways that I have been served, and absolutely take an interest, a new motivation in increasing it. Where else can I serve? How else can I serve? Where else can I give? How else can I give? And knows who it is. So my friend Sally lived to be 92, and they told her in August, almost 2 years ago now, that she would die in 3 hours, that she would not live longer than 3 hours. And the family was all brought in, and other rituals and other things for the end of life. And she said, in the course of that, she accepted this. Her eyes were very clear and bright, dazzling blue. And she looked at me and said, "I'm ready." And I said, "Well, okay." And another option for you. And she said, "Yeah, I'm going to go home." And she started telling them, "I want to go home." Now, this was an intensive care and critical care that already told her 3 hours. And they said, "Well, you won't make it home. You won't even make it home in the ambulance." And she said, "That's fine. If I don't make it home, they'll just turn the ambulance around and bring me back, and then off to the morgue I go." So it took a big, long process. I don't have time here to go into it, but the long story, meaningful, hopefully. She went home, prepared to go home, to prepare to die, to transition. And she lived to the following May. And a video just got posted in social media about her. It's on my Facebook page if you want to look at it, of her already immobile. She was able to sit up some and could be transferred from the bed over to the sofa. And she's propped up in a sofa in her prettiest and most favorite bright yellow colors. And she's couch dancing to her favorite song. So this kind of inspiration at 92, and but she was still serving through her expressions, through her spunkiness, through her laugh, through her couch dancing, through her joy, and what one song could do for one soul. So play your favorite song, dance like nobody's watching, and awaken to all the ways we can serve, even when we are nearly dead, close to dead, headed toward death, can't walk, can't move, can't get off the couch. There's myriad, multiple ways for us to serve. Another memory comes to mind of one of my aunts, and she was literally in intensive care, and on her deathbed, she actually did die in just a few hours after we were there to see her. And this was the same week that my baby brother had died at age 40, suddenly with a massive heart attack. And we went to her dying bed, and also with this news that Randy had died. And What she said from her dying bed was, "Oh my goodness, I wish I was able to bring some food over to you all." So, flat of their bed, dying, got a few hours to live, and we're still thinking, how could I serve? Oh my goodness, I wish I could make some food and bring it over to your house. So, there's something we can all do. There's something greater, something that is medicine for our hearts. Only you know what it is for you. I know some of the things that it is for me, and I am all about it and more all about it. So, also this month, one of our friends in the spiritual community, Jack, worked no telling tirelessly, made trips to and from Michigan, refurbishing through a ministry that he serves there too. He serves this ministry greatly and another ministry that refurbishes musical instruments, and we're donating them to this small rural school in Kentucky. So those kids that wouldn't be able to get instruments are going to get just like new instruments, even better than new instruments, because they've got the love of Jack in them. And we get to deliver them. And in the beginning, I thought it was going to be 4 or 5, then it was going to be 12, and now it's like 14 instruments to a small rural school. And that music teacher is wagging her tail and dancing like nobody's business, because she now will have the means to provide an instrument and instruction for children that would never ever have the means to be able to do this. So many ways we can be in service. So, dedicating time for prayer. Our prayer ministry here is one of the most potent prayer ministries possible. There's at least weekly and often daily reports of something that has been experienced, a level of healing, of miracle, of comfort, of peace, of new understanding, of just the power of knowing we're being prayed with and prayed for comes. So, plenty of ways to be in service there. A time of our own reflection, of contemplations, to awaken to what is true for us, to come home through our embodiment of our own spiritual teachings. So, this Memorial Day is yet another call to action for me, to embody the values of these teachings, the values of service, the values of the sacrifices that have been made, that nothing has been made in vain here. And that I then am encouraged and inspired again to find meaningful ways to give back, and to give back to this spiritual community, to give back to all the spiritual communities that I serve, and to give back to all the relationships that I have, and seeking and finding more and more opportunities for giving in meaningful ways. So I want to uplift and emphasize an enduring legacy that we have been given, legacies of what have been given to us, and the possibility, the full ever expanding potential that we have to live a life from these legacies that have been endured, and then to uplift and ever expand these legacies in our own lives, to carry forward in the spirit, of honor, the spirit of gratitude, and the spirit of remembrance, of appreciation, of honor and honoring, and our call to action. So, this is the beginning, a beginning in this metaphor of life as a journey that we continue in. Parts are dying and parts are living. and both are included. And the living is, my attention goes to being as alive as I can be with the and in the life that I have, and a joyful anticipation of what could be, might be, will be through my own endeavor, through my own creations, and through the benevolence of life as source itself. Unconditional, sacred legacy, now and always. Blessings to you as you remember, as you choose, as you reflect, as you extend gratitude, as you serve, as you heal, as you hope, as you embody, as you give, as you pray, as you reflect, as you serve, as you create legacy and take action. All blessings and always, my love.